What's happening, YouTube? I know what you're thinking. It's been a while, and indeed it has. However, I'm here to share with you my review for the latest Horror Boobs release, I Spill Your Guts. Now, if you've been paying any sort of attention to my YouTube videos as of late, you'd know that I'm like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Horror Boobs fan in the world. And if I can recall correctly, I think I have all of their releases to date. So as you would imagine, I was pretty amped about this release. So let's have a look at the tape. The movie is directed by some dude named James Ballschmoe. As you can see, the cover art is pretty rad. Very suitable for a movie called I Spill Your Guts, I'd say. Oh, and check this out. The VHS is actually yellow, as you can see here. There's a label, a side label anyway. Rule number one about VHS collecting. 9 times out of 10, the cooler the cover art, the shittier the movie. I Spill Your Guts is a textbook example of that theory. Now, before I get into how the movie actually is, I'd just like to point out that my main man, Matt from Horror Boobs, actually has one of, if not the best line from the movie.
Just tell me about Baba. I don't know Baba. I'm telling you, I don't know Baba. I don't know lava.
Well done, Matt. But as for the movie, with a title like I Spill Your Guts, one would think that the movie would actually be halfway decent. But dude, it's not even close. I Spill Your Guts? You should have called it I Waste Your Time, because that's all it is. A big fucking waste of time. The plot of the movie is simple. These two dudes, Dennis and Joe, are on a routine military mission when they are suddenly surrounded by enemy fire. Joe stands into the line of fire to run. Dennis pushes him out of the way, only to take the bullet to the throat. When Dennis wakes up, he's a mute and finds out that Joe is now a war hero, claiming all of his glory. And now Dennis wants revenge on everyone around Joe. Now there's 3 main problems about this movie that I wanted to address. I made some calculations and crunched the numbers, and the total runtime of the establishing shots is well over 12 minutes. That's like 17% of the movie. Most of the time I thought I was watching the intro to All in the Family.
And you do when you want it. That's for girls and men, woman. Mister, we could use a man like Private Hoover.
Instead of showing all those buildings and horses and statues, you could have showed like 2 babes bumping clams. Jeez. Another thing I couldn't stand about this godforsaken abortion of a movie was the music. Featuring a killer metal soundtrack, bro. Dude, it even says so on the back. But dude, it's not even music. It's just tons, and I mean tons, of shitty hardcore. The whole time, it just sounds like someone's starting and revving a diesel engine with really loud drums over top of it. It's distracting and it's pathetic, and it fucking sucks. I couldn't even hear the on-screen dialogue half the time because the music would just drown it out. Seriously, Ballschmoe, did nearly every other scene need hardcore playing underneath it?
I don't think so. Homie, don't play that.
Although, to the movie's credit, some scenes do feature some catchy, upbeat dance tracks underneath it, but even those weren't enough to keep my attention half the time.
I gotta get out of here, dude. No, tell me what's going on. I'm gone. I'm gone. Google. I don't even got a computer.
The nudity in this movie is, I'd say, standard. Not an extreme amount or anything, but not too little. Just enough boobies, buttholes, and ball sacks to keep the average viewer interested in between all that other bullshit I already bitched about. The gore is amateurish at best. Just your standard shots of blood coming out of people's mouths, couple of stab wounds, blood splatters, whoops, knife in the cunt. And did I mention that only 50 copies of this bad boy were produced? 25 of them being signed by Lynn Lowry, and the other 25? Well, they were signed by some dude I don't even know. My copy appears to be signed by David Gorman? So, in conclusion, I'd say only pick this up if you are a Horror Boobs fan like I am and you want to support them, because even despite the fact that I dislike this movie, I'm still going to continue to buy Horror Boobs releases. I mean, 3 strikes and you're out, you know what I'm saying? This is only strike 1, because Mold was awesome, and the Horror Boobs tapes I have on the shelf over there are really fucking awesome. So yeah, I mean, it's no big deal. It's no sweat off my nutsack, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, James Ballschmoe, you really let this one hit the fan. It's just it's terrible. Ah. So until next time, I've been your host with the most, drinking all the coffee, movrinoscopy. Stay tuned for later installments of a movrinoscopy video. And in the meantime, I'll just be sitting here at my desk wearing these awesome pants. Dude, check these pants out. These things are so fucking awesome. Yeah, that's right. You can't really get a good look at them. Let me put my leg higher for you. It's about as high as I can go.